Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 106 is brought to you by Charlotte, one of our newest Patreon patrons. Today, I'm joined by Crossing Channel. We'll be chatting with them about all things Animal Crossing. After, Sergio will join back up with me and we'll go over all the latest Animal Crossing news regarding New Horizons and Pocket Camp. So to begin, hello Crossing Channel, or Ben as I should call you. How are you doing?
Hi, it's nice to be here. I'm doing good. Are you alright?
I'm doing great. So I'm a fan of your channel. I'm a fan of how much you've grown and shown all of us how sought after Animal Crossing content is. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
But yeah, you've seen a lot of growth with your channel. You're fairly, I've kind of looked it up, and it seems like you've had the channel for a while, but most recently you've started doing a lot more with it, right?
Yeah, that's basically the way. I made it in 2013, I think, but I stopped uploading for maybe about 5 years or something, so there was definitely a drought of activity there.
Yeah. And, it's very hard. I'd say, the most difficult thing getting into content creation is for sure the consistency aspect of it. Yeah, because it takes a lot of learning to figure out, what you want to do, let alone, make something every week or every day in some cases for you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a hard sort of grind in a way. Well, I don't really see it as a grind, but I guess that's the best word I can describe it with. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's been fun though, honestly. More than anything, it's been fun to be consistent with it. It feels sort of right to do it that way for me.
Yeah. And yeah, I'd say there's just a lot you can do. So kind of figuring it out is a lot of fun too. So it's a good
exactly.
time. Yeah. So yeah, I have tons of questions for you. So
bring them on.
We've got quite a big show with this alone. So
I'm ready.
So yeah, I've got some general questions. I've got New Horizons questions, some channel questions for you as well. And, I fit in some questions from Sergio too. So let's go ahead and start with some general questions. I know your first game was New Leaf. Can you talk about when you started playing it and what connected you to the series?
So I think I started playing it. It would have been the same month that it came out in Europe. I can't remember. That was either June or July. And I was introduced to it by some friends. They were all playing it. We were on a sort of online community together. It wasn't Animal Crossing, and they were all playing it because I guess at that point, it was the newest Nintendo game, so everyone was playing it, and they basically convinced me to play it. I already knew about Animal Crossing. I knew a lot about it, and I knew the game was coming out. I didn't really have much interest in buying it. I didn't really buy many games at that time in my life. So it was kind of like a big leap for me in a way to try something so new and something I wasn't really used to. And I just loved it. I couldn't stop playing it. I think I sort of got addicted to it right away. Literally from the first hour that I was playing it, I must have played it all day long. I remember staying up all night playing it. I don't think I'd ever played something so long for one period of time before. And that's kind of hard with Animal Crossing as well, because in New Leaf especially, they don't give you a ton to do on your first day, but I somehow managed to do so much in that first day. Even at nighttime when the stores were closed, I was still playing it. So I guess that's what really connected me with the series. That first sort of day really sort of showed me what I love about it now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that too, because I've seen some people's stories of their first experience with the game really range from that instant connection like yours to it took them a while to understand, and they didn't like it at first,
Yeah, I see that a lot actually.
Yeah, so everybody kind of comes from a different place in that regard, and it's really cool. And I really like that you connected with it just so quickly, especially with I think of the first day of New Leaf, and it's kind of, they put a wall there to kind of keep you from doing so much in the first, or being able to do so much, because
they do. You can't really do anything, and it's kind of even like that for the first, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 days in the game, because you have to raise your approval rating and stuff like that. So the gameplay is really slow in that game. And that's obviously something I would like to see changed with Crossing New Horizons, but I know we'll get more into that later, I suppose.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I think they're going more toward that direction in this
I
in
would
this
hope
case.
so. Well, wait, which way do you
Um,
mean?
I mean, I think they're gonna slow it down a lot more
Oh, right. We'll have to
based on
see.
where we're starting.
It could work. It could work. It just depends on
Yeah.
how they do it. I'm excited either way, obviously.
Yeah, I think I love a good change. So,
I
but
do,
speaking
definitely.
of that kind of change, I know your beginnings have been in New Leaf, so and you've gone back and played a lot of these titles or the previous games. Like, how has it been going back to previous titles after kind of starting with what's essentially the most fleshed out version of Animal Crossing?
It's been really interesting. The first one that I went through was Animal Crossing Wild World because I could play that on my 3DS, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first one that I tried. I didn't love it. I think Wild World is obviously quite a stripped back game, and when you compare it to New Leaf, and they're probably the versions that you can compare the most because they're handhelds. So when you
Mm-hmm.
compare the two together, it's sort of like a very big step down. And I still love Wild World for what it's worth, but it's definitely felt like a step down for me. Playing City Folk, that's the one that I really enjoyed when I first played it. Um, it's not my favorite now, but I still enjoy it. I really enjoyed playing through that one for the first time. I definitely played that a lot more than Wild World. The one that I got really addicted to was the original on the GameCube. I thought that one was just superb in every way. I mean, I played that one so much now. That one I would put very close to being my second favorite, even though New Leaf is such a good game and I really love it. The original game, which I managed to play, I just really fell in love with that version.
Yeah, so what is it about that like original game that kind of sticks out compared to, because each game I feel has grown the concept a little bit more, but and the original, like going back to it, it's kind of, I guess for me, it's very quirky. I started with that
Mm.
game and it's definitely got less to do than New Leaf, but I feel the same where it's still probably my second favorite. And yeah, so what is it with that game that you feel just makes it stand out?
So the original Animal Crossing game, I just think it's so magical. There's something like you said, really quirky about it. And I like that so much. I feel like a lot of games from that era on the GameCube were really sort of odd and quirky. And I love that about this original Animal Crossing game. It looks good to me as well. It looks really good. Even though you've got a lot of these like 2D textures, I still think it stands up and like holds up really well, which is something I can't say about Wild World, even though that came out later, obviously, because it's on the DS. The graphics are not great. I think City Folk has really nice graphics, but there's something about the style from the original, just the way it looks and the mood and ambience of that game. I don't think it has been matched since, even in New Leaf, the sort of ambience of the original game, I think, is the absolute best.
Yeah, I understand that there's a bit more of a, to me, kind of like a magical, strange land feel to it.
Yeah, I get that. It's almost like it feels less like you're living in like a town and more like you're living in kind of like a fairy tale world in a way. I definitely feel that with the original one.
Yeah. So, do you or have you spent any time with the spin-off titles? And I guess what are your thoughts on those games?
So, I've played Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. I've played that one quite a bit, maybe about 100 hours on that, so I'd say that's pretty decent. Pocket Camp, I played a ton. Well, not anymore, but I did play that a lot. And Amiibo Festival, I've never actually played. I've watched other people play it, but I've never played it myself. So, in terms of what I think of each of them, Happy Home Designer I really enjoyed. I thought it was a bit expensive for what it is, but it's still a good game. I like it a lot, and I love the concepts that that game brings. I think a lot of them would fit well in New Horizons. Pocket Camp is a game that I really spent a ton of time on when it first came out. Maybe for the first, not like a whole year, but maybe like first 8 months. I played that every day, did all the events, got all the items, did everything with it. I've spent money on that game. But I guess as the game sort of added more microtransactions in, I stopped playing. I have nothing against the game. I know some fans really don't like it, but for me, it's more just I don't want to play it anymore. I've done everything I can do with that. And as for Amiibo Festival, which I haven't played, as much as I want to dislike it, I can't. It's still Animal Crossing, you know. I love Animal Crossing too much to say I dislike that game. But at the same time, I do feel like I need to play it a little bit and see what it's all about. Because I know what it's about, but I always like to play stuff for myself, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll say, as far as like Amiibo festival coverage goes, it's pretty slim. So it's kind of hard to get an idea of all the other little mini games that are available on it.
Yes. That's
I know
one thing that I really like about those games. Desert Island Escape that I know came to New Leaf. That's a really good mode. I know that much.
that is for sure the highlight of that game.
Yes, definitely.
So I appreciate that one. And there are a couple, well, there's like one other mini game that I like, but it's so simple. It's definitely just a mini game.
Yeah.
So I wish kind of in general the game added up to a more holistic whole than it is right now.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know your favorite character is Bob, and we'll get to that, but who is your favorite special character and why?
I don't know if a lot of people would see this coming from me, but it's actually Brewster. I don't really know why. I think it's just I like the roost a lot and I like being there, so I guess I've spent a lot of time with him and I guess that's kind of made me like him a lot as a character. I just think he's not he's such a laid back character and I like that a lot in characters. I like the characters that are more sort of chilled out and I guess that's what he strikes me as, so I like his company a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of people really like Brewster, and I'm
I
really glad
have
he's one
seen
of your
that.
favorites.
I have definitely seen that, yeah.
Yeah, but he does give off that very relaxed vibe. He's just a place where you can, funny enough, find relaxation in a game that's mostly about relaxation.
He's very mysterious as well. I feel like there's a lot to learn about him and his backstory, and I want to learn more about that in future games.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I want that in general for a lot of the characters that
Yes,
exist.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, so let's talk about Bob a little bit.
Okay.
What is it about Bob that you love so much? And are you a cat person in real life?
Okay, so Bob. The reason why I like Bob so much is basically it's very similar to the reason why I like Brewster so much. It's because Bob is a very chilled character. I like chilled characters a lot. I like his design. I feel like he's got sort of it's a normal design, so it's not anything too crazy, but at the same time it has quirks to it. So it's normal but a little bit quirky, which I like. It's not like a really, really crazy design like some of the villages have, and it's not super generic like some others have. So I like that. And yes, I'm a cat person. We have a lot of cats in my house. We have 3 cats at the moment, and I own one of them myself. So yeah.
I'm pretty jealous. I am also a cat person. Sergio is not. He prefers dogs.
It usually does
But
tend to be split like that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. So I saw a recent video that you made that was on unpopular Animal Crossing opinions, and we actually really love that topic here. We've done an episode on our own unpopular opinions, but I wanted to know, what are some of your own unpopular opinions on the game?
I would say one of the ones I have is that time traveling is not wrong. I know a lot of fans are really, really against time traveling. And as for me, whilst I don't feel like I need to do it, time traveling is something that sort of, it just doesn't bother me at all. I don't care if anyone time travels in their game. I don't know how this is going to change with New Horizons, if they remove this or not, like it's been rumored and speculated about. But I don't think there's anything really wrong with time traveling. I don't think, as long as it's not something that affects other people's game experiences, it doesn't bother me. I would say that's my main unpopular opinion. In terms of like smaller unpopular opinions, I'm trying to think. I Oh, well, obviously, I made a video on this as well. I think Tom Nook is a good guy. I know some fans really dislike him, but I feel like it's going more towards the other way now, so I don't know if I can really call that an unpopular opinion, but I'll put that out there anyway, that I think Tom Nook is a good guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
Yeah, yeah. And, that's one I notice a lot more is an opinion from players who kind of started out with the first Animal Crossing game, I feel.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and I mean, I'm one of those, but I since have not really been bothered by Tom Nook. But that
Yeah.
first game, he definitely comes off as kind of like monopolizing the entire town
Yeah,
and in
I do
generally
get that
doing
angle, yeah.
yeah, generally his business practices could be scrutinized a little more.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do see that. I just feel like he's had such growth as a character that it's very hard to hate him. If you followed his journey, if you followed him through every game, I feel like he's someone that we've seen so often. And especially if you've been playing
Hmm.
like from the start, each title that comes out, you've seen Tom Nook in all of them. And he's got a big role in New Horizons as well. So I can't hate the guy. I feel like a lot of the reason why I see people hate him is not even just how he acts, but it's the fact that he gives us a loan. And it's like, well, he has to give us a loan. We can't just have it for free. And even then, he still gives us like a tent to sleep in or whatever. So, he does a lot for us
Yeah.
that he doesn't have to do. So I think he's a good character and he's a good guy.
Yeah. And even then, I feel like paying off the loans like the most fun that I have playing the
I
game.
can see that, yeah. I do enjoy
Yeah.
doing that. I mean, it's just part of the experience. It's a good time.
Yeah, and I enjoy the progression. I feel like it kind of pushes you forward in some way and
It
gives you that
does. It definitely does.
experience of really seeing the town grow as you do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Yeah. So this one's not really Animal Crossing related, but just what other game series do you enjoy playing?
Mostly Nintendo ones, unsurprisingly. um, I like Pokemon a lot. I like every Mario game. Well, not I wouldn't say every game, but most of the games.
Hmm.
Zelda, I think Zelda's great. Trying to think. In terms of more like standalone-ish games, not series, I really like Stardew Valley. Not Nintendo game, but I mean it's on the Switch, so I'll include it
Hmm.
in. Rune Factory, that's a really good game. Fantasy Life, that was a great game on the 3DS. Trying to think what
Yeah.
other games I've played. I've played a lot of games, mostly Nintendo ones. I would say those are the ones that stick out the most to me as the ones I really enjoy, but there's loads of games. Oh, Tomodachi Life, that's another game I played a lot that I really enjoyed. So yeah, I'll go with those ones. I think those tend to be my favorites that I really enjoy playing.
Yeah, I like those options. A lot of kind of like life sim casual type of games that
Yeah,
I get sucked in by those too. They're just so much fun.
that is all due to Animal Crossing. All due to Animal Crossing. I did not play those types of games before Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I feel the same too. So let's get into some New Horizons questions. And the first one I've got for you is what was your reaction when you first saw New Horizons?
It was quite a big reaction. I wish I'd recorded it. I really wish I'd recorded it. It was a big reaction. I see. Here's the thing about me as a person. I'm not really great for reactions. I don't really react much. But the thing about Animal Crossing New Horizons is I had watched every single direct since maybe 2015. Every single one. Every E3. Every Nintendo Direct they put. Every announcement they put out. I'd be watching, waiting for Animal Crossing. All my friends knew I was waiting for it. Like, it'd become a thing where if we were in the chat together, they would be like, "Oh, where's Animal Crossing? Ben's watching or whatever." And so when they finally announced it for real, now that I'm thinking about it, I remember they announced it. They announced they were doing a Switch one a bit before they actually gave us the footage. That was a really big reaction too. But when I actually saw the game, I was blown away. I think, like a lot of people, my reaction was crazy and then a bit confused because I feel like a lot of people at first saw the crafting stuff and they thought, wait, is this Animal Crossing like a main one? But I obviously quickly realized, yes, this is the new Animal Crossing. It's just got some elements that are a bit different. And that's when I was blown away. I still am, to be honest with you. I can watch that trailer again and my feelings haven't changed. I'm still blown away by the game.
Yeah, I'm really glad about that because I rewatch all of the footage pretty much on a weekly basis still,
Yeah,
and I still feel like I cannot believe we're going to be playing this game.
I know it's an unreal real sort of feeling for me.
Yeah, so I guess based on that, so how do you feel about New Horizons so far? Do you think they're going in the right direction with Animal Crossing?
Oh, 100%. I honestly, I have no complaints about the new game. There's nothing that I've seen that I don't like about it so far. I think the graphics are great. I think the new elements like crafting and stuff, I think that's all fantastic. I want to learn more. That's the only like negative thing I could say. I want to learn more, but yeah, I'm completely happy with it. I'm really excited for it. Probably
Hmm.
I mean it's probably the most excited I've been for a game like ever, I want to say, which is kind of like a big statement. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have that kind of excitement again. um,
Yes, it really is.
yeah, so, but it's not every day we get a new Animal Crossing
No,
game.
it's not, and it's good to sort of be here as it's happening because obviously with New Leaf, I played it sort of a little bit after it came out, so it's good to be a part of it and like be with everyone whilst we're all
Hmm.
waiting for the game.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess what features are you most looking forward to in this new game?
The biggest one for me has to be the fact that you can put furniture outside. It's weird because I feel like I know people have acknowledged this, but I feel like people aren't talking about this enough because the actual sheer potential of being able to put furniture outside and even being able to move it in half units as well, that is just insane. Like the amount of stuff you can do with that even based on the furniture we know from New Leaf, this game is going to have new furniture as well. So the fact that you can put it anywhere you want in your town, that is just insane to me. And I'm guessing from what we've seen so far, like the limit is going to be pretty high as well. They're not just going to, it's not going to be like Pocket Camp where you can only put down so many things. I reckon it's going to be a really sort of big limit. So people will be decorating literally every space in their town. It won't be like, oh, can a public works project fit here or whatever. It will be every corner of the town can be something interesting. You can do whatever you want with your town. And that really excites me because in Animal Crossing, I always decorate my town a lot. I've really spent a lot of time doing that. I think even before I pay off my house loan, I make sure my town looks good. So it's like that for me is the feature that I'm most excited for. I'm also excited for other small stuff, like all the quality of life stuff and all the small changes that they've made. I'm really excited about all of that stuff. I can't wait for that. I mean, I feel like the small changes, in a way, speak the loudest about the care they've put into this game because they realize that most people won't notice that stuff, but they still do it anyway. And that says to me that a lot of love has gone into this game, and that's something I am very happy about.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they've been impressed with. I know you've done a lot of really great videos showing just kind of the small details that they've been doing with New Horizons. And I'm hoping they notice and appreciate that we appreciate all of these little things that they're changing. And even beyond that, like, I'm really glad you mentioned the limit of how many items you can place in your town because I remember hitting the limit in New Leaf with public works projects and being nowhere near complete with what I was planning for my town and
Yeah.
thinking I need more.
Yes. I'm almost certain that that limit is going to be a lot higher because it just wouldn't work. It would not work if that was the same sort of limit. With furniture, obviously, it's a lot of it isn't even nearly as big as public's work projects are. Like if you're comparing some of the really big ones to smaller furniture items, you'd need to be able to put a ton of stuff outdoors. I'm sure it's going to be a really big limit. It's obviously not going to be limitless because then you could just fill your island with items to block people out and animals wouldn't be able to move around. So I'm sure there
Hmm.
will be certain limits to it. But at the same time, it's going to be so high that I think no one is going to be really complaining about that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you've talked a lot about how excited you are for this game, but I am interested. Is there anything at all that worries you about New Horizons?
Hmm, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. The one thing I guess that maybe worries me at the moment is how the one thing I've been thinking about a lot is custom patterns. kind of an odd one, but the thing about custom patterns is they were obviously such a big thing in Animal Crossing New Leaf. You would make paths with them. That's the main thing I think people would do with them. And they looked really good. But the thing about this game is those patterns that you make are not going to look as nearly as good, in my opinion, on the ground. And I'm interested to see how all of that's going to go. And also the fact that sharing QR codes and stuff, I don't know how that's going to work. I think it'd be such a shame if that wasn't a feature in this game. That was something I really enjoyed. So I want to see them talk about that. I want them to say, this is how we're going to do, QR codes and patterns. This is how it's going to look. Here's an example of a pattern on the ground, for example. Or if that's even possible, because we really don't know yet. But I guess that's the one thing that would worry me. But at the same time, it's not something that sort of sits on my mind very often. It's just the first sort of thing that came to mind.
Yeah, for sure. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to your coverage of the game. Any plans on what types of videos you'll be making when the game releases?
So I am planning on doing a Let's Play series of it. I think that's something that I've been set on since day one. Since the very first day I saw the game, announced, I thought to myself, okay, I'm definitely going to do a series of it. So I plan on doing that. Probably going to do it. I want to say I'm going to do it daily because obviously I'm going to be playing the game daily, so I might as well record it if I'm playing it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm planning on doing that daily. But I also do want to do other types of videos. I don't want to just have a Let's Play series up because I don't necessarily consider myself like a Let's Play YouTuber. So I'm going to have other sort of stuff. Like I would love to do like lots of tutorials for the game, like earn bells fast or catch this rare bug or whatever, stuff like that. So I want to have stuff that can appeal to everyone. I want to have the videos of the Let's Play for people who love that kind of stuff. I want to have the tutorials for new players and, stuff like people who maybe aren't as interested in the Let's Plays. And I'm also going to try and do other Animal Crossing videos as well because I know not everyone is going to want to see New Horizons content. I know the internet is going to be saturated with it at that time. It's going to be very intense.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I love that. I love that you've got a lot of different things that you want to do. I feel the same about it personally. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it should be pretty fun.
I feel like there's a lot of potential for what all of the Animal Crossing content creators can do, and I'm hoping we'll see a lot of new content creators as well. I love seeing it when sort of people will pop up and they post a video about Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like if I see that sort of thing, I try and post it on my Twitter or something because I want there to be loads of Animal Crossing content online because you can never get enough of it. I don't know about you, but I'm always happy to watch more Animal Crossing content.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I digest as much as I make, so that's always my goal. So I guess I have some channel questions for you, kind of to jump into that topic from this last question. We've seen your channel grow very quickly over the past few months. How has that been looking and feeling on your end?
Oh, it's it's been absolutely crazy. I never, honestly, I never would have guessed that my channel would grow so fast or even grow as much as it has. My goal originally, once I first started putting out like more high quality videos and I was noticing myself going up in subscribers fast, I said to myself, a good goal would be to have 10,000 subscribers by March 2020 for when the game comes out. And obviously, I exceeded that somehow. And I guess that really surprised me. Honestly, I didn't think that I would see so much channel growth. I even hitting like 1,000 wasn't something I expected anytime soon, especially when I started out posting videos again. So it's been really crazy. It's been so nice though. I mean, everyone has been so nice to me and supportive of my videos. The people who watch my videos, I see a lot of the same faces again and again, and that makes me really happy that people are sort of coming back for my content and watching it. That's sort of what matters to me, that people are actively enjoying it, because I feel like if people weren't enjoying it, I wouldn't want to do it at all. And I'm sure you feel the same about that. Having people watch your content and enjoy watching it and sort of they keep coming back for it. That's a good feeling and that makes it sort of worthwhile for me.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that feeling completely. Just coming from like seeing those comments where people are like, "Yes, I'm always excited for this day of the week when I
Yeah,
post because I don't post as often as you do. Usually Tuesdays and Fridays are sure things for me, but I like that there's people looking out for that, and I'm sure people are out there just waiting for your next video to drop. So it's a cool feeling. It's very
it
exciting to
really
know that
is.
like.
I appreciate that so much. I mean, I honestly I can't express, how happy that makes me feel because I never would have even expected that when I started making the videos. So for that to have happened is great. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. So I guess from here, like, what do you look forward to doing on your channel?
Definitely the New Horizons Let's Play. I think that is going to be a very big thing for me. I mean, I don't even necessarily mean in terms of how many people watching it. I just think that's a big milestone for me on the channel. I mean, playing a new Animal Crossing game as it comes out, that is a really big thing for all of us. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing live streams for Animal Crossing games. That's something I'm definitely working on. At the moment, I want to be doing some live streams. I've never done that before. Well, I've never done it on this channel. I've done it like, because I've been making videos on and off on YouTube, and I've done like random gaming stuff for my friends on Twitch in the past. So, I've done a little bit of streaming. I know how it works, but it'd be really nice to start doing it for my channel. And that's something I'm excited to do. So I'd say those are the two things that really stick out to me at the moment. New Horizons coming out and also trying some live streaming on my channel as well.
Yeah. And it's been a really long wait to have, like, kind of an Animal Crossing game that is more recent, more relevant to what people are
Yes,
interested in right now. Just because it's been so long since
it
the last
has.
one
It
that
really
it
has.
just feels like there hasn't been too much going on or talk about, So this will be a nice
Exactly.
change of pace.
It really will be.
So I did have a couple questions from Sergio, and he had two very specific things to ask you, and this is a very important character to him. So he said, his first question was, "What is your favorite thing about KK Slider?"
Okay. KK Slider, I like the fact that he's such a free spirit. I like the fact I think he's the only animal in the game that doesn't wear any clothes. He wears a guitar. I don't know if that
Yeah.
counts as clothes, but I like that he's a very free spirit. I would say out of all the characters in the game, they think they're people. They all wear clothes, they all have jobs and stuff like that, and things they do around town. But KK Slider is just living his best animal life. He's the most natural character in the game, and I really like that about him. And it's always exciting to see him as well. That's another thing. Like I don't get that excited when I see a lot of the other NPCs because they're always around. But when KK Slider comes into town every Saturday, it's exciting. It's exciting to see him. So that's probably my favorite thing about him. Well, that's two things, but those are my favorite things about him.
Yeah, I like that. And then his last question was, "What is your favorite KK Slider song?"
That has to be KK Bossa. That is such an iconic and great song. I know that tends to be a fan favorite, so I'm probably not very original in that. But it's just such a great song. I mean, I can't pretend not to like it. It's so like that to me. KK Bossa, out of all the KK Slider songs, KK Bossa is the most like it could be a real song. It could be when you hear the orchestrated version from the Animal Crossing movie. That's just a real song. That could be a song that anyone wrote and put out as an instrumental. It is such a good song, and as a sort of big lover of music, I can really appreciate something like that. That a video game would put out a song that sounds so like like real. It doesn't sound like Animal Crossing music. It doesn't even sound like video game music. It just sounds like a really really great song. And it resonates with me every time I play an Animal Crossing game. I get that song from my main room in my house every time. Every game that I have, I can do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a great pick. I know, yeah, you're right. It is a popular song, but it's popular for a reason. It's a very good song,
It
and a lot
it
of
really
people
is.
really enjoy it.
Yeah, I can see that online. So many people love that song.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. We've talked a lot about having you on the show, and we haven't gotten to make it work, but luckily this weekend it worked out, and I'm really excited for everybody to kind of join us and, just hear your thoughts on the game, because I know a lot of people are fans of your work, fans of what you do, and
It's definitely been a long time coming. I know we've struggled to get it to work, but it's great that we finally managed to do that. I'm really happy to be on the podcast. I love the podcast. I think it's amazing, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy. I'm so happy lots of other people are enjoying it too, because honestly, and I'm sure that your viewers will agree with this, I could sit there and listen to talk about Animal Crossing for weeks. I could just sit in my room and listen to talk about Animal Crossing for weeks.
Awesome. Well, yeah, so before we let you go, where can people find you and watch all of your content and hear all your thoughts on the game?
So you can mainly find me at Crossing Channel on YouTube if you type in Crossing Channel, or you can type in Crossing Channel like Animal Crossing on YouTube. My channel should be the first one. Got a little logo that says Crossing Channel. So YouTube is where I mainly am. You can also find me on Twitter at Crossing Channel if you want to follow me there. Everywhere I just post Animal Crossing stuff. So if you love Animal Crossing, that's where you can find me and get your dose of Animal Crossing.
Awesome. Well, yeah, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you for having me.
All right, Sergio, welcome into this show. How are you doing?
Hi, everybody. Hello, Chewy. I'm doing amazing.
That's so good to hear. What's so amazing?
Just Pokemon Sword, and just being back in the Pokemon craze and atmosphere, and just playing just that game, and having like that's perfectly okay. Like that's all I'm doing, and that's all I want to do.
I love it because I know you do NJP, and I know from what I've heard Daryl say, he's not too happy with it. I of course haven't heard the episode quite yet about you all talking about that. But I'm excited to see how you defend it because I'm enjoying it too. I mean, it's Pokemon. It's fun. It's not for everybody, and I get that, like, it's a formulaic game. And so I feel to a big extent it's going to do the same thing over and over for 20 years. And after 20 years of that, it's understandable that you wouldn't be as hyped anymore. But, they make it's a new generation for a new generation. So sometimes the game's just not for you, and that's fine.
Yeah, but for the people like us that we do stick with the games and we play the new ones, after a year or two of playing either remakes or nothing, because there's nothing, then you get a new game and you get really into it. It's like you don't realize how much you love Pokemon until you're playing it again.
Yeah, it's like coming home after a long break. I love it. It's nice. I think I'm having fun with it too. And
Nice.
Just feels good to be playing it again.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyways, we just had our interview. I'm excited for you to hear it. I did ask the questions that you wanted to ask
Awesome.
about his favorite KK Slider song and his favorite thing about KK Slider, and I think you're really going to like his answers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he had some good stuff to say about that. But anyways, for the end of this episode, I want to hop into some news that we've gotten regarding Animal Crossing. And then, of course, we're going to go over our Haken Islander corner. So to begin, let's start with the news. And the big thing that's happened recently is that the Animal Crossing Twitter account is now New Horizons focused. And this was just a little fun announcement that we got. I forget when it was actually, but the announcement was, exciting news, everyone. Lloyd is stepping up to provide Animal Crossing Pocket Camp with its very own official Twitter. While I'm not going anywhere, you should follow Pocket Camp to stay up to date on all the latest Pocket Camp news. So Pocket Camp has its own Twitter account, and they continued by saying, I'll continue to provide Pocket Camp updates for a while as Lloyd gets situated. Of course, this is Isabel speaking, by the way. And she said, starting next month, though, Pocket Camp will be your go-to source of news for everything related to your campsite. So, a lot of people are taking this as the official Animal Crossing Twitter handle is going to be focused on New Horizons, and that's going to start in December, essentially.
Yes, finally.
And Sergio, you've made a prediction. Can you remind us what it was?
So, just out of the blue, I predicted a Nintendo Direct on December 4 at 9 a.m. Pacific.
I thought it was a long shot, and I've got to say, now that this has happened, it feels more and more real. So that's actually, okay, we're on the last week of November, so next Wednesday to be exact, 9 a.m. is what you're thinking. 9 a.m. Am I going to take my lunch break at 10 in the morning? That's what I'm thinking to myself right now. I don't know. I would, first off. But how are you feeling now since this news has happened? Does it feel like more confirmed at this point to you?
I think so. It's just nice to see that Nintendo remembers that they're working on this game and that they need to start promoting it soon. And it's looking like it's going to be sooner than what I thought. It looks like they're starting in December. So I think we might get a little something in December. Maybe not a direct, but at least something.
I could see it being smaller than a direct for sure. I could see it being like some new images, a new trailer, probably. They have been updating their website, the official Animal Crossing website here and there. I've seen some changes happening on it. Spirit of Ace, friend of the show, has kind of, been talking to me on Discord a bit and telling me, like, I think things are changing. It seems like New Horizons news is on the way. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy because I also thought it was going to be a lot later. I thought it was going to be like January before we saw this game again. And now that this has happened, I'm like, a trailer could just drop, And the reason I guess I was thinking January was kind of looking at this past year. So early January 2019, there was just a stealth dropped trailer of Yoshi's Crafted World. Just one, it was like a Tuesday evening for me or something.
Yes.
And that one actually announced the release date for Yoshi's Crafted World, which it was very random because it wasn't like an official direct or anything that confirmed this. It was just like, here's a trailer on Twitter, everybody, enjoy. And so Animal Crossing's unique in the sense of like, we already have a release date at this point. We know it's coming March 20th, 2020. And I just expected there to be news January at some point, just because we don't know a lot about this next year of Nintendo. And even more so than last year, because we all expected a January direct earlier this year. So even more so than this year, like, we know a lot less at this point. Like, we know Animal Crossing is on the way, and then there are a bunch of floater games that we're still waiting for, those Metroids of the world, essentially,
Yes.
And then outside of that, there's a game before Animal Crossing, which is the port of Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And after Animal Crossing, we don't know anything. So this year, it just makes sense to have a January direct that spells everything out. And maybe February is an Animal Crossing direct. But now I'm just like, what's going to happen? I have no idea at this point. It's exciting. It's exciting to get this new news. And I do want to say, the new bio for the the Animal Crossing Twitter now reads, "Welcome to Animal Crossing. Stay tuned for more on Animal Crossing New Horizons, and be sure to follow at Pocket Camp for more on Animal Crossing Pocket Camp." So it's very clear that they have shifted this Twitter, and this shift is happening in a week.
Yeah, they remembered. They remembered.
Yes, I also tweeted a little shortly after this happened that I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo dropped a trailer for the game later that night. And then I thought about it more and I was like, you know what? Even if we knew a trailer was coming, I would be surprised if a trailer came. Just because it feels like Nintendo never talks about Animal Crossing, or the times they do, it's very minimal, you know?
Mhm.
And I feel like we've already gotten pretty lucky with
Yes.
since the I guess E3, you know. I was not expecting to see it in September, and then we did,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And that to me is just lucky. Yeah. So I guess, what are you thinking about this whole bio change? Are you excited, or how are you feeling about it?
Definitely, it's exciting to see New Horizons news are in the horizon. Man,
That's very
that
true.
worked.
It
And
did.
you know what's very different about this December? There's no big game like we had in the past 2 Decembers. So that was actually my reasoning for maybe they can do a direct, sort of like to make up. We don't have a big game this month, but hey, here's a direct for some of the early stuff for 2020. I don't know if it's still gonna happen. I mean, it could make sense in that way of thinking, but I feel like if they don't do that at direct, at least they like seeing these changes in the Animal Crossing Twitter. It's a start. It's a sign that we could get something in December. Like you said, a trailer would be nice, but if not, at least the Twitter can be promoting new screens, maybe new features. It's a nice little way to begin spreading some news.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really good it's a good time too, just because,
Hmm.
like you said, there's really nothing going on with Nintendo this December, and I'd have to do a little bit of research in it, but you know, historically Nintendo has had both a handheld console and a home console to, you know, satisfy markets for. And so we'd see a lot of games during the holidays, some for 3DS, some for the Wii U during that time, and you know, even before that, some for the Wii, some for the DS. So it's a I feel it's probably a rare year where Nintendo doesn't have something in December.
Yeah.
Or at least something that's like a little bit closer than November, mid-November.
Yes.
So yeah, it's interesting. And usually, yeah, and maybe they made this choice just because like Luigi's Mansion was already so close to November. It was practically November,
That's right.
October 31st. So it's a strange change, but since there's nothing, like, sure, I don't mind if you talk about Animal Crossing. Go for it. um, but yeah, that's basically the most relevant news for New Horizons that we've gotten. It's essentially no news, just like it usually is, but it's no news that feels hopeful more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting to news eventually. But anyways, I did want to kind of give you all some updates as far as Pocket Camp goes, and Pocket Camp has officially gone into version 3.0. So last year, the game went to 2.0, I think on the year mark too. So it seems like every year they're planning on going up another version, and they've really, I guess, upped the changes in some way. So some small things that have changed. There's a new load screen, and I took a little screenshot of it on my phone, but if you load the game up, it shows you two pictures, and it's essentially a Find the Differences game.
Mm.
It's really cute. I want all of them. I want them to do a new one already so I can find some new differences, because I'm already done with this one.
Nice.
And then outside of that, they've updated the UI. It has a new look to it. All of the
Yes.
things have much cuter icons. I have to say, I was complaining to myself. I feel like I've never mentioned this, but Pocket Camp, there's some screenshotty type of things that they have like in the loading screens and stuff, and they just don't look good. They look kind of blurry and pixelated, and just overall the quality of the load screens seemed like not great.
Hmm.
And just like little I guess little things here and there just didn't look very good to me. And it was either just like the quality was low, it was the image was a bit blurry, but I love the updates that we're getting as far as like the new icons go, because it feels like more detailed. It feels like they're finally committing to making some new assets for the game.
Yes.
Because it still feels like, when this come out? 2017 now. It's been 2 years. Yeah. So
Yes.
it started to feel like a little old to me. And so this update was nice in just the visual aspect. But the biggest part of the update is, of course, the new subscription service, which I'm sure everybody complains about and nobody's like really for. And, you know, I said I'd take one for the team. So I did. I paid I paid for one of the plans because the cheaper one is actually providing a free trial.
Yes.
Which is good. So if you want to try it for at least the free plan, which we'll get into this, but I personally think it's the better plan of the two. So actually, I'll go over it. Happy Helper Plan. This one is $2.99, so $3 a month, and it essentially provides you with 5 things, and there are 3 things that are unique to it. One is you can assign a helper. This can be any villager of your choosing, as long as I don't know if you have to unlock them to be able to do it. I've unlocked like pretty much every villager, so I can't really check that.
Yeah, they had to be able to be in your campsite already.
Okay, so yeah, you've already unlocked them, you've invited them to your camp, that's one thing. So they'll walk around with you, you can turn off this feature in case you feel they get in your way, which I found sometimes I do feel like they're in my way. But for the most part, they're good, so I let them hang out. But yeah, outside of that, they will complete requests for you. Those are like the little tasks your villagers usually have you do, and they can get you some extra event items. So it's pretty nifty if you want to not play the game, essentially. You want to pay for it to play itself. And then the other big things that it has is the shorter crafting times, which are significantly shorter.
Yes.
They are a really, I think, decent update for those who are just starting the game and want things to move a little bit faster. And then the other thing is they give you 60 leaf tickets every month. So those are the things with the Happy Helper plan. The Cookie and Depot plan is expensive. It is $7.99 a month, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's the worst of the 2 plans. It's the more expensive of the 2 plans, and just overall the things that it includes are just not as great as the Helper plan. And I mean, I know I joke about the game playing itself, but sometimes it helps just because like it takes a lot of dedication to log in every 3 hours, and I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's nice to get the extra help. But the Cookie and Depot plan includes 5 fortune cookies a month. I've already bought all of mine. It gives you extra item storage, which I don't need. And then it also shortens the crafting time. So both of them do that. So essentially it has 2 unique things, because both of them will provide you with access to the Pocket Camp Club journal. Volume 1 is out now. It has some pretty cute articles that cover decor and birthdays of the villagers in that month. So it's cute. I do like that aspect of it. Both of them also let you enter this early bird campaign that Nintendo has going, and it is actually a pretty cool campaign. You can enter for free if you have one of these plans, and which you can because one of them is free right now.
Right.
So hop on that if you haven't yet. But it'll provide you, winners will get a physical bag, which it looks like a paper bag with a bear on it, just like the one in the game where you're passing out little items,
Yes.
And they're giving away 22,222 of them. And so there's a good chance you can win one of these bags. I'm going to be so mad if I don't. But it's open to the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. I believe those were the only countries listed. So if you're in any of those areas, be sure to enter. And if you're in New Zealand or Australia, let me know because I want to go visit. And Canada too, actually. I love Canada. So yeah, let me know. I'll go visit. We'll have some sort of Haken get together. But yeah, okay. I love the Pocket Camp Journal. I like this campaign. I do not like the Cookie and Depot plan. I think it's a waste of money. I honestly think it's not worth the money, especially like I play the game a lot and I have not hit the limit on storage of my items. And I don't know. I just don't see it being something for me. I don't see it being something for the majority of players, you know? So it doesn't have enough unique things, whereas like the Happy Helper plan, it has a couple unique things like the other thing, but I feel like they're just more helpful. It is the helper plan, you know, but it just feels overall more helpful and a lot less expensive for what you get.
Yes, and it's surprising that the free trial is not for the more expensive one as well, and because it like you said, it seems like it's the least worth one, and I think Nintendo is gonna realize that. I don't know. Maybe that's part why they don't want to offer a free trial, but I feel like they should have, and I feel like it should be cheaper so that maybe it's more enticing. It probably should have a couple, at least something else, another feature, something exclusive to that plan. But the helper plan is definitely much more enticing. Like you said, even for people that play a lot, sometimes there is like if you work, there's a time where you cannot log in every 3 hours very easily, and this could help you with that. And not only that, but the villager that you choose to be your helper, they get a lot of experience when they help you out, and they pick up some really good items. I got some essences already from June, so it's a good plan. It's very nice to have a free trial, and honestly, I'm thinking if I'm gonna keep it, it's good. It's enticing.
Yeah, and I mean, even now hearing you talk about it, I'm just like, I don't want to miss out on any of these Pocket Camp Club journals because they were really charming. I was just reading it and I was like, man, I wish my job could just be writing these little journal entries and articles for Pocket Camp. It seems like such a cute job. I don't know. I was charmed by it. And then the music for this whole update is adorable. It's really cute music, and I recorded a bit of it. And there's one song, unfortunately, that you can't get to very easily. You can only get to it by actually purchasing one of these plans. But if you do, turn up that volume, take a listen. It's also, and if you don't want to buy it, it's also in the trailers. So, save your money. But I like the helper plan like you. I don't think the Cookie and Depot one is worth it. The 5 cookies, it is really cool that you can look at an older selection, but I don't know. It's just, it doesn't pique my interest as much. And then I forgot to write this down too, but the last part of the update is that they finally addressed the Gulliver stuff. He is fixed.
Yes, that's right.
I'm doing it like crazy. I now love Gulliver. It's a much better system. And I'll tell you, it's worth it to do it because there are islands with cookies that are incredibly easy to get. And this is how it works. Essentially, it's one of the golden islands, so it's a rarer type of island, but these islands have an assortment of cookies available along with, I think, some gold treats. And the gold treats, if you get those, just know that's the only time you're going to get those. Every other prize on there is a cookie. And these are ones that are out of stock sometimes, ones that you may have been missing, but there are, I want to say 4 or 5 of them per island. And you, each of them, I think mine asked for like an apple, just one apple to send Gulliver out to this island. And it took 5 minutes. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
And so within about 25, 30 minutes, you can have yourself 4 or 5 extra cookies, which is a great deal.
Yeah.
And this is all free. Like, and apples, you just get those on your trees in your game. Like, it's not hard to get them. So Gulliver is great. I love it now. I think they did a great change, and it's a lot cheaper to refresh the islands. I think before it was about 300,000 bells. Now it's 10,000. It is so much more affordable.
Wow.
So yeah, check out Gulliver. He's now good.
Nice.
Yeah.
He stopped being friends with Red, it seems.
Yeah, Crazy Red, he was a bad influence, but we got rid of that guy, sent him home. He's in my Pokemon game now.
Yeah.
I named one of my Pokemon Crazy Red. If you've played, you know which one. Yeah, so it's fun. But anyways, that's all I really have to say about Pocket Camp. The update, it's nice. I wouldn't spend too much money on the things. The Happy Helper plan, I think, is worth it, but you don't need it. It's not a necessity. It's just a little bit extra if you truly, truly play the game a lot. But if you don't, you can ignore it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into our Haken's Islander corner. And Sergio, a lot of these are pretty short, so I grabbed them all.
Cool.
Yeah, but for those of you who don't know, Haken's Islander Corner, we ask our patrons on Patreon a question every single week and go through their answers. This week's question was, when do you think we'll get an Animal Crossing Direct? Sergio, I know what day you think. For me, I'm still leaning mid-January to mid-February. Just to give a date, let me look at my calendar real quick. I'm going to go with January 15th, 2020.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle of the month. It literally is. It's a Wednesday. It's the middle date.
Are you willing to pick a time?
It will be at 3 p.m. Pacific.
Oh.
It's going to be an afternoon one. No, it's either going to be very early morning or I feel like evening. I'm going to go 5 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a later one because thinking back to the Pocket Camp one, that was in the evening. Like I was already home in time to watch that one.
That's true.
So I'm leaning an evening time for this.
Okay.
Yep. So there we go. Mark me down, January 15th, 2020, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Cool. So let's go through these answers. We'll go pretty quick through them since they, we're just going to be reading people's guesses. So I'll go first. Tab said, no idea, but I really, really hope Sergio's prediction is correct. That's a good start. I hope so too, Sergio.
Hopefully, that'd be nice. Fantastic says, I think it would be pretty close to the release date, maybe sometime in January or later. I can't wait for them to announce more details in a special bundle for the game. January seems like the most appropriate month.
Yeah, that in February. I'm still torn between January and February. I could go back and forth, but I've committed. I'm sticking to my January date.
Nice.
So Lampshade said, if my calculations are correct, we will probably get an Animal Crossing Direct sometime after they have written, filmed, and produced one. We will then get it when it is released, again, if the math adds up. I think this is an astute analysis from Lampshade. It's definitely possible that this is the process that they have to undergo in order to release a Direct for this game.
We're gonna hold you to that, Lamp. Sounds good. Spirit of Ace says, I think we will get an Animal Crossing Direct in January, but December might give us some news on the Twitter account. This is also sounding very possible. That's very true.
Yeah, very plausible for sure. Dragonflame323 said, a most original idea, but I'm predicting December 4th at 9 a.m. You heard it here first. So I'm pretty sure you took your answer there. And we heard it here first, Sergio. So you got to come up with a new one.
Oh, that's right. Nice. So Quantrell Taval said mid-February. I mean, at least that's a little more than a month for fully promoting such a big release. I can see that.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. So many games have gotten a Direct dedicated to them just the month before they released,
Mm-hmm.
So this would fall in line with that, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So Denise said, I have no idea. I just hope it's soon. It's a great answer, too.
Yeah, because Nintendo just keeps changing their patterns. It's hard to predict them, so who knows really?
Yeah, but somehow, I feel like we end up talking about it like just before
Oh yeah.
it gets announced. Like we say something like, you know, today they could probably announce a direct, and then they do it. This is not one of those times. Everybody, don't get your hopes up. Probably not going to happen. It's got to be announced for December. You know.
Nice. So Tara Steiner says, I think it will be after the holidays since this is the season of Pokemon. Hopefully January, but my money is on February. Again, I mean that makes sense, but I feel like I guess Pokemon is huge. I guess
hmm
they could be like, December is just Pokemon hype.
Yeah, and I guess I always think of these two from the business aspect of it. I know, I forget where I heard this. It's probably in their financial analytics. It's somewhere, but essentially Nintendo has been spending a lot more on their marketing, especially through advertisements and stuff these days. So
Hmm.
I could see them very well focusing on it being the season of Pokemon, as she says, just because they're going to be spending a lot to have their games seen this holiday. We have the new Switch Lite model. We have the new Switch with the longer battery. There's some bundles with the old Switch, unfortunately, being sold this Black Friday. So yeah, I feel like a lot of their budget could just go toward existing games, existing products, just to focus in on those sales, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so Zoe Chorn said, I think January, but with some small tidbits here and there in December. Yes, totally fair.
Yes,
I could
yes.
see that happening for sure.
And most likely through Twitter, based on the updates we're seeing.
Yeah, if you're not on Twitter, please, it's worth it just to have it and follow Nintendo and the Animal Crossing account. Those two accounts alone are worth your time.
Yes. Definitely agree. Kakulu says, I was super surprised that we didn't get one in the first 2 weeks of November. Nintendo has had 11 such directs in the past. It's the hottest time for directs, and we didn't get anything at all. So now I'm thinking mid December or early January.
And this is an interesting point too, because even like there wasn't even like a Nindies direct, you know?
Oh,
And
it's been a while, yeah.
those feel like the not easiest to get out, you know, but just like it seems like a reliable thing around this
Yes.
time of year, just with like so many third party games coming to the Switch. It feels like something they can talk about. But yeah, nothing for November, as surprised as people are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Elijah Barron said, I think that the direct will be in December. Isabel's Twitter account said that starting next month, the Pocket Camp account would be the only place to get campsite news. That means her account will be all about New Horizons. And yeah, that's what we're saying here.
Yes.
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that change for Isabel to come. And this is going to be interesting too, because we don't know what Isabel's role is in the game yet. And
Oh,
I could see that just being kind of the first casual announcement. They're like, Isabel's like, hey, I'm going to be doing this in your town now.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to make predictions about that in a later episode. I think I've got some ideas for later.
Cool, cool. So Lake MT says, I would love a December direct with some Animal Crossing, but I think we're going to see several tweets here and there showing tidbits of New Horizons until release. Hopefully, we'll see a new trailer in January, but who knows? Nintendo is unpredictable when it comes to this stuff. Very true.
Yeah, who knows?
They don't even know, I bet.
I know, they probably don't, to be honest. They probably like submit all of these things and then somebody's just like, all right, here we go. So Sasha505 said, not sure, but as long as we get some type of news from them, I'll be happy. What if they don't show us or barely show anything? Probably not, but you never know with Nintendo. Yeah, you never know when they're just going to let you down like last February. Sad day.
That's true. Kiki Balkan says, sometime during the holiday season so that people can get their pre-orders in. That's a good point. We just saw that you can now pre-order in, I believe in the UK. Not preload yet. Some people are waiting for that. So, things are ramping up.
Yeah, definitely. I look every day to see if our pre-orders are up on our, I guess, North American website.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Cesar said, never. Sad face. I would be sad too. I'd cry.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you don't expect anything, then whatever you get, it's good news.
Yeah.
Winnie World says, absolutely, sometime in January is my bet.
Good guess. Keyblader1723 said, I think we will get one in January or early February.
That's fine. And I think, early to mid-February at the latest. Anything after that, it might be too late, You want at least a full month.
Yeah, it's true. I want one now.
So Ness says, yep, it's spotlight time for Animal Crossing New Horizons at least. I feel we're gonna get one late December or early January, and if not, then at the very least, a decent bit of news, one way or another.
Yes, we need to start getting treated right. Like our game needs some attention, please. It's not gonna sell itself, Nintendo. I mean, it will to us, but people have to know about it.
Oh yeah, yep.
So Bunny said, I think anytime from mid-January to early March, though I think early February is most likely. It's possible that Nintendo will have a regular direct in late January and show a little bit of Animal Crossing New Horizons, then stay tuned for an Animal Crossing direct coming soon.
Oh.
I'm so excited to hear more. It would be lovely to get more news in December, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately. So early March, it's not really an option we've talked about too much. But, it's a possibility for sure,
Yeah, I can see it working out if they go all out. All of March, it's just promoting this game, and then it comes out on the 20th, and everyone is happy forever.
I mean, okay, I'm going to sidestep here for a little. It's just such the perfect game to do a daily update for.
Yes.
And just be like, hey, take a look at my town, my island today. And, it feels like one of those games where you can have a campaign that spans a month and you see new things every single day. So I would love that. Like, this today, KK Slider was playing in town, So just give us a little taste of that.
That would be so good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So Andrew Orto said, I think we'll get a dedicated Animal Crossing Direct after the next General Direct, if we get one at all. I think they may opt for the regular Twitter updates, then a full-blown Direct. If I were to pick a month, though, I would say February. That's true. I mean, we haven't really made a distinction between a General Direct and a dedicated Animal Crossing. I guess Andrew is expecting one of each, and I think that may just happen.
Yeah, I think both are totally plausible. And I still lean toward yes on getting a Direct just because I'm holding Nintendo to these words from E3, but they said they will be talking about 8-player multiplayer at a later date, which I'm going to assume is during a Direct somehow,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Leto Jagger said, as much as I would love one by the end of the year, Nintendo is going to want to focus on the holiday season, January 2020 at earliest for a new Nintendo Direct, with perhaps a more embellished Animal Crossing specific Direct in February. And this kind of falls along the lines of what I think too. I feel like their budget's probably going to go toward the holiday season with these new consoles and all the games that are already out,
Mm-hmm. That makes sense, and this would accommodate a General Direct and an Animal Crossing one. This is something really good.
Yeah.
So Kiwi said, I am unsure about a dedicated Direct. I am sure it will take up a major part of a Direct in mid-January or very early February. This would be a cool time to announce an Animal Crossing design for the Switch or the Switch Lite and start some pre-orders. This is also an option, if it's the majority, like more than half of a regular Direct, then we're gonna be very happy.
I'd be so happy with that. I want Animal Crossing to take over, and I want to see the design for the Switch there. They have to be working on.
Yes.
So Connor said, I'm thinking it will be January, but it would be nice to see something in December. I agree.
Yeah. So definitely check Twitter. It's kind of likely that we'll see something in December. At least some promotion of the things that we already know.
Yeah.
And the last answer for this week is by Bishop Kayla, and they say, I have no idea. I just hope it's sometime soon. And I think we can all agree with that. The sooner the better.
Yeah, I think that sums it up for sure. Just we're waiting, Nintendo. You know, whenever you got the time, just send it our way. It'd be nice. It'd be real nice to see something.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. Don't want the episode to end? Well, you can keep the conversation going by Nintendo switching over to our Discord. Just follow the link in the description, and you can talk with other people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio and me. Want to support the show in a bigger way and get your voice heard during the show? Visit patreon.com/ChewyPlaysNintendo. You can support our show with just $1, have an episode dedicated to you, get special access to a secret room on Discord, join in on the Haken Islander Corner, and even read a monthly newsletter covering all things Haken and Chewy Plays. And I have a pretty cool one coming up that I still have to write, but I think people are going to enjoy it. But we really appreciate the support and put your money towards some great things on the show. Tuned in on YouTube, the comments are a great place to let us know your answers to the Haken Islander Corner. When do you expect to see an Animal Crossing Direct? If you dig what you hear, please KK slide over to that review section on your platform of choice and let people know what they're missing out on. Haken is a wild production brought to you by Chewy, Sergio, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.